Right to this a suggestion via channel number, guys. So the name of the video is the Ukraine waited for China's secret convoy to enter Russia, then erased it within minutes. This is coming from the channel Navy Signal. Let's jump into it, guys.
October 10th, 2025. Before sunrise, the port of Novorossiysk on the Black Sea became the stage for a silent deal between Beijing and Moscow.
Okay.
High above, a satellite from Kiev's Lanter space system pierced through the Crimean fog and caught sight of something invisible to the human eye. A convoy of trucks moving in eerie silence. Inside were DF-11 short-range ballistic missiles, each capable of carrying a 1,100-pound warhead, enough to erase an entire district of a Ukrainian city. The signal reached Kiev's command center like a spark hitting dry powder. No speeches, no negotiations.
Right, it's time to act.
Only one command: activate Operation Nightveil.
Nightveil.
Within minutes, dozens of FPV kamikaze drones lifted off, cheap, small, and relentless. No chatter filled the network, only coordinates and one encrypted word: attack. Now, 15 missile trucks and their armed escorts were driving straight into a storm they couldn't see. Could Russia's Panzer S-1 air defense intercept this swarm of low-cost assassins?
Yeah,
or would this night end with an explosion that rewrote the balance of power on the Black Sea? Let's find out. October.
Hey guys, like be fully aware, like some of those drones are, like on radar, they're really just gonna look like a bird, bro. So, do I think that they're gonna have the ability specifically with a Panzer shooting a missile that size, guys? No.
October 10th, 2025.
No.
03:47 a.m. High above the Black Sea, a Lanter space system satellite, just one of 26 orbiting Ukraine's defense grid, captured a frame that changed everything. In the stillness of Crimea's Novorossiysk port, a container marked ALH-455 was being unloaded. Its steel walls bore the emblem of China's Norinco Group. Around it moved approximately 20 Chinese soldiers heavily armed, guarding what appeared to be a covert missile transfer. Within 9 seconds of transmission, the image reached Kiev. The AI system in Kiev's command center ran the footage through 128 recognition filters. The verdict was immediate and chilling. Inside those 15 trucks were DF-11 short-range missiles, each capable of carrying a 1,100-pound warhead to a range of nearly 190 miles, enough to strike deep into Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv. If the convoy reached its forest base in Belgorod, Russia would gain a battlefield advantage worth hundreds of millions of dollars and potentially cost thousands of Ukrainian lives.
Absolutely.
At 3:49 a.m., a red alert flashed across the Kiev Situation Room. Operation Nightveil, one analyst muttered. A Reaper MQ-9, armed with 4 Hellfire missiles and advanced EO/IR sensors, was launched to 10,000 feet, tasked to shadow the convoy and capture every radio pulse, every engine heat signature. The MQ-9 sensors detected 15 trucks, 4 escort vehicles, and 2 command jeeps moving north at roughly 38 miles per hour through dense woodland. AI algorithms projected their likely rest stop, 12 miles ahead, near a fuel depot routinely used by Russian logistics convoys. Inside Kiev, the realization settled like ice.
A big trade-off is about to happen, guys.
It was a mobile escalation. China supplying Russia's front line under cover of darkness. The decision came with no debate. We intercept, the director ordered.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be completely honest here. When it comes down to China specifically, like, they don't really need to act in like the cloak and dagger that they tend to, right? I mean, listen, the West already knows you guys are allies, right? You guys are both our like legitimate adversaries, okay? Like, we know you guys are working together. So why are you hiding it still? Deniability, potentially?
At 3:52 a.m., data links locked, satellites aligned, and Ukraine's first invisible strike of the night began. The hunters were already in motion. 4:05 a.m. The MQ-9 Reaper held steady at 10,000 feet, engines whispering above the fog-covered forest of Belgorod. On its thermal feed, 15 missile trucks, 4 escort vehicles, and 1 command jeep carved a glowing trail through the darkness. Each DF-11 missile carried a 1,100-pound warhead, enough to obliterate a city block the size of Times Square. Altogether, the convoy carried a combined explosive potential exceeding 16,000 pounds of high-grade TNT, a rolling bomb train moving barely 38 miles per hour toward Ukraine's border. Inside Kiev's control center, a wall of monitors flickered with intercepted data. Ukraine's AI algorithms analyzed over 400 gigabytes of live telemetry every minute. Within 46 seconds, they identified the command vehicle by its abnormal burst pattern. 37 unique RF signatures clustered around a high-band frequency at 4.3 gigahertz. Predictive mapping estimated the convoy would pause 12.4 miles ahead, near an abandoned fueling depot last used by Russian armor columns in early 2023.
Like, without AI, I'm not sure we'd be doing this well.
The order came fast. Deploy 2 modified MTLB armored vehicles, call signs Echo 1 and Echo 2, to intercept. They moved under radar blackout, halting 4 miles from the highway. Both vehicles carried custom EW suites powered by twin 4-kilowatt emitters, each capable of replaying and distorting enemy telemetry in real time. Their secret weapon? Echo Trap, a system built to reflect radio waves back at their source, turning enemy jammers into blind transmitters. At 4:13 a.m., alarms flared. A Buk M2 missile system stationed 8 miles south detected a low-flying Ukrainian scout drone at 620 feet altitude and vaporized it with a single missile traveling Mach 3.5. Within minutes, Russia launched 2 Orlan 10 drones, each broadcasting jamming waves strong enough to paralyze electronics within 10 square miles. But the Ukrainians struck first. Echo 1 activated the trap. It captured the Orlan's 4.3 gigahertz pulse, inverted it, and sent it back. The result? Total chaos. Both Orlans reported conflicting coordinates, spinning out of alignment. For 172 seconds, Russia's jamming grid went blind, a blackout window worth millions of dollars in disrupted defense systems. In that silence, Kiev's AI locked onto the final waypoint, 4:15 a.m. The convoy would stop right where the forest narrowed, just as predicted. The trap was ready. The strike would follow in minutes. Everything was in place. The traps, the decoys, the silence. But no one in Kiev could say with certainty whether the enemy would step into the kill zone or vanish into the mist forever. 4:15 a.m. The Belgorod forest was silent, too silent. Dew clung to the pine needles, engines hummed low, and 15 missile trucks, each worth nearly $8 million, rolled into a narrow clearing. The convoy's total cargo, over $120 million in DF-11 missiles and logistics gear,
Yeah, guys, they're not going to make it.
could flatten entire city sectors if deployed on the Kharkiv front. But the drivers didn't know they were
they
already
can't make
inside
it,
a
guys.
kill box calculated down to the last 12 feet by Kiev's AI. At 04:16:42, the encrypted message arrived from Kiev. Execute Strike Alpha. Inside the second MTLB, its hull still cold from a night under camouflage netting,
MTLB.
2 operators keyed ignition. A sound like a swarm of bees tore through the trees as 20 FPV kamikaze drones shot upward. Each was only 4.4 pounds, carrying a 2-pound shaped charge. Yet together, they carried enough explosive
Bro, that
power
is
to rival a
diabolical.
500-pound
Right.
bomb. They climbed to 200 feet, synchronized via laser pulse telemetry refreshed 20 times per second. Then the swarm broke into patterns only AI could predict. 10 targeted the convoy's fuel trucks, 5 aimed for missile trailers, and 5 at command vehicles. Russian radar operators, reading a screen filled with dozens of false echoes, never saw them coming.
And that's what I'm talking about, guys.
17:10.
False echoes.
The first drone hit. A direct strike into a fuel truck carrying 620 gallons of diesel produced an orange fireball that reached 65 feet into the air and registered 3.2 on local seismic sensors. Within 8 seconds, 2 more drones punched into missile bays, each DF-11 warhead containing 1,100 pounds of propellant. The blast sequence chained at 1,700
that
feet
they
per
have the
second,
footage
turning
of this
15
is
vehicles into a
absolutely
storm of
disrespectful.
molten
Like,
shrapnel.
more disrespectful. than it
Panic
should
rippled
be.
through the escort units. The Pantsir S-1 nearby attempted a countersalvo. 3 57 E-6 missiles, each costing $90,000. But its radar, corrupted by Echo Trap interference, misfired all 3 into empty air. Russian soldiers fired wildly into the smoke. The sound of rifles was swallowed by explosions that lit up the forest for miles. By 4:18:40, the flames consumed everything. Trucks melted into skeletal frames. Shockwaves shattered glass 9 miles away. drone telemetry logged a heat spike of 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit at the epicenter. In less than 5 minutes, an operation worth under $25,000 had annihilated over $120 million in hardware, killing or disabling 55 soldiers, many believed to be Chinese advisors embedded with the Russian team.
I believe it.
4:20 a.m. Silence.
By default.
A crater 35 feet wide smoldered at the heart of the clearing. From orbit, Lanter has confirmed total destruction. One analyst in Kiev whispered the math aloud. 20 drones took down 15 missile trucks. That's one kill every 15 seconds. The forest had just rewritten the rules of modern warfare. If you think the strike ended here, think again. The aftermath would expose secrets Russia never wanted the world to see. Keep watching. 4:21 a.m.
Okay.
The echo of the explosions still rolled across Belgorod's forest valleys when the last fires began to fade. Where the convoy had been, there was only ruin. 15 DF-11 missile trucks reduced to molten frames, 4 escort vehicles burned into the soil, and a crater 35 feet wide glowing like a furnace. The heat signature peaked at 1,420 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to liquefy aluminum, melt asphalt, and warp the steel suspensions of nearby vehicles.
I'm also not sure if anyone made it out of that, guys. I'm just going to be completely honest here. Not on that one there, guys. That one right there. Yeah.
For the next 20 minutes, the forest burned like a torch. Russian units at a nearby radar station, 11 miles away, misread the destruction as an artillery strike. The Pantsir S-1 battery, already half blind from echo trap interference, launched 2 more missiles, both worth $180,000, into nothing. One exploded in midair.
Guys, that's the racket right there. Like, listen, so you guys have been sending me a lot of videos from this channel here. I think this channel is absolutely amazing here, guys. I mean, with how it delivers its stories and things like that. But guys, but if you do like more of it, obviously go ahead and check them out because they're the ones that they're doing this, right? But here's the thing. The racket legitimately is selling these things because guys, I don't know where you're getting these prices from. Who is making these things up, bro?
Scattering debris across their own perimeter. Local commanders went silent.
You are spending too
their
much money.
Their encrypted radios overwhelmed by a wave of static from the destroyed convoy's RF systems frying simultaneously.
I want to know how much.
At 4:35 a.m., the first emergency response team reached the site. Drone footage later showed 55 dead or missing, at least 22 bodies belonging to Russian and Chinese personnel. Every missile casing was split open. None were salvageable.
Right. Okay.
The shockwave had shattered 57 windows in a nearby rural settlement 9.3 miles away. Forensic units described the blast pattern as surgical yet catastrophic. Meanwhile,
super precise.
In Kiev's underground intelligence center, screens glowed in the dark. The Reaper's infrared feed confirmed total destruction, and the AI displayed a single word on its interface: objective complete. Applause was brief. Many knew what this meant. A Chinese-supplied weapons convoy had been wiped out inside Russian territory. The diplomatic implications would ripple far beyond the battlefield. By 5 a.m., Russian state channels declared a logistical fire accident. Within hours, however, Maxar's independent...
Because, guys, that's exactly how they generally report anything.
Satellite imagery went public, showing identical coordinates. 50.499 degrees north, 36.618 degrees east, matching the Kiev operation logs. The blast crater, over 10 meters deep, left no room for denial. For Ukraine, it was a triumph built on silence. For Russia and China, it was an embarrassment measured not in words, but in tons of ash. Over 300,000 pounds of destroyed military hardware, erased in less than 5 minutes. The war had entered a new phase, invisible, precise, and impossible to ignore. By sunrise, 6 a.m., the smoldering crater outside Belgorod had already become the most analyzed piece of Earth on the planet. Satellite feeds from Lanter, Maxar, and NASA's Terra probe confirmed identical coordinates: 50.499 degrees north, 36.618 degrees east, and an impact zone spanning 112 feet across. Within hours, analysts compared the data. A $25,000 Ukrainian swarm had erased $120 million worth of Chinese-built missile systems and 55 trained personnel in under 4 minutes. It was not just a strike, it was a demonstration. a warning written in fire. In Kiev, the debrief began. The operation's success hinged on 5 components, each one as improbable as it was precise. Orbital detection from a 2.6-ton Lanter satellite orbiting at 310 miles. AI-assisted signal mapping that processed over 400 gigabytes per minute. Echo trap technology reflecting jamming frequencies with 98.6% accuracy. The ultra-quiet MTLB-2 control module hidden only 4.1 miles from the highway. And the FPV swarm synchronization, refreshing guidance data every 0.05 seconds. Together, they created a digital ambush no human commander could have timed by instinct. But the cost wasn't only measured in rubles or dollars. For Ukraine, this operation risked escalation on a global scale. Chinese personnel among the casualties meant the strike had pierced beyond a battlefield. It had touched a geopolitical nerve. Within 36 hours, both Moscow and Beijing filed formal diplomatic protests at the UN, accusing Ukraine of unprovoked aggression.
Yeah, all right, bro. Listen, we see what you're doing, China. All right. I think anyone that has been following like the geopolitics, specifically of the issue here, at least, you'll start to immediately realize that, guys, China's not innocent here. They're not. They're supplying a good amount of what is currently destroying Ukraine.
Kiev's response was curt. The convoy carried weapons of war. We removed them. Behind closed doors, Western intelligence called it the 5-minute miracle. Military analysts in Washington noted that the drones, built from recycled components and 3D printed shells, had achieved an efficiency ratio of 4,800 to 1 in cost versus destruction.
Right.
One Pentagon source remarked,
like how everyone
no nation in modern history has ever generated that much impact from that little hardware. Yet amid the celebration, a quiet unease grew.
Take a lesson from
If 20 homemade drones could erase $1 million convoy overnight, what would the next generation bring? As dawn rose over Kiev, one question remained on every analyst's screen. Was this brilliance or the beginning of something far more dangerous? By 7:10 a.m.,
far more dangerous.
The smoke over Belgorod had thinned, curling like gray ribbons above a scar that didn't exist the night before.
Oh, well
the
said.
Lanter satellite made another pass, capturing the aftermath in brutal clarity. 15 blackened shells, a crater 35 feet wide, and what analysts estimated to be over 300,000 pounds of obliterated hardware. The world's media hadn't yet woken up, but history had already changed course. In Kiev's underground command room, operators removed their headsets one by one. There were no cheers, no celebration, only the quiet hum of computers and the slow realization that they had just redefined modern warfare.
Completely changed.
The mission cost less than a luxury car, yet it had vaporized a missile convoy protected by 2 layers of air defense, 4 armored escorts, and $120 million worth of combined Russian-Chinese assets. A cost-to-destruction ratio of nearly 1 to 5,000. Hours later, international networks began to report an unexplained explosion near Belgorod.
Right. It's so
Russian state TV
guys.
called it a fuel accident. Beijing denied any Chinese presence. But the satellite images told another story.
What about the
one that
people
could not be buried,
lives?
one that burned too brightly. In intelligence circles, the strike became known by a single code name, Operation Silent Forest. To the world, it was a footnote. To Ukraine, it was proof that ingenuity could triumph over firepower, that a nation fighting for its survival could outthink empires armed with gold and steel. And yet, beneath the triumph lay a question that refused to fade.
Okay.
If this war could now be won by algorithms, satellites, and drones no larger than a bird, what would come next? Because somewhere above the clouds, new machines were already watching, and the war of tomorrow had just begun. If you found this analysis insightful and want to support more in-depth breakdowns like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
All right, guys. Ooh, so many of you guys don't know, but some of you guys who have been here for a long time, guys, listen, so when it comes down to drones and drone technology, guys, I have a Part 107 pilot's license, specifically a drone license. The fact that they decided to use an FPV is very interesting to me, not like a Cine Whoop or any type of quadra, copter. Guys, you get what I'm saying here, guys? FPVs generally are super maneuverable and they're definitely super cheap to build compared to what a lot of the world's militaries consistently are using. The drone technology, the fact that they're utilizing the FPV technology for this, it makes all the sense in the world. Smart. I would definitely love to know, how they are figuring out specifically the range issues, right? But I'm sure they're using some type of like cellular data, not RF specifically, but some type of like, I don't know, 5G or something like that that's able to make it move. Also, is it a battery thing? Because these things don't fly very far, guys. Not a FPV. I mean, you can only imagine that they're probably going to run maybe 9 minutes. So, are we supposed to believe that they're like 9 minutes away in flight time, or is it some like gasoline powered thing? I don't know, guys. I'm intrigued in the technology, but the fact that countries are starting to utilize these things now for this purpose, absolutely, there's going to be something else that comes from them utilizing it in this manner, right? Technology is absolutely going to consistently evolve here. But all right, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.